true consciousness. That is the true consciousness of a practitioner.
I love
Say
that.
yes.
When opportunity knocks, we must answer.
Would you
Knock, knock,
like
knock.
to hear it in Kiswahili or?
Absolutely.
All right. I will do a treatment in Kiswahili. So let's connect ourselves and send ourselves. Na nakumbuka na kutambua kwamba Mungu ni mmoja. Uwepo wake umesambaa kila mahali. Umesambaa kwa miti, umesambaa kwa nyota, umesambaa kwa mbingu, umesambaa kwa ardhi, kwa mchanga, kwa maji, kila mahali. Uwepo ambao ni wa upendo, ni wa hekima, ni wa uzuri, ni wa nguvu, ni wa ujuzi. Uwepo huu unanijia kwangu, ukifanya kazi yake kupitia kwangu na ndani yangu, na kama mimi. Na najua kwamba mimi ni mmoja na huo upendo, Najua mimi ni mmoja na hii nguvu, mimi ni mmoja na huyu Mungu. Mimi na huyu Mungu ni kitu kimoja. Na najua kila mmoja wetu katika mkutano huu yuko pamoja na Mungu na ni mmoja, na pia ana upendo, ana uwezo, ana hekima, ana ujuzi, ana amani. Na ndio maana natangaza kwamba mkutano huu utaendelea kwa njia bora. Kile kitu ambacho tunapanga kitaendelea kwa njia mzuri. Na mambo ambayo tutayapata hapa yatakuwa ni kutusaidia sisi na kusaidia ulimwengu mzima na kufanya ulimwengu mzima pamoja nasi kwa mahali pema na mahali pa kufurahia. Nafurahia sana, natoa shukrani nikifurahia jambo hili. Nikifurahia kwamba wakati tutamaliza darasa hili tutakuwa watu tofauti na mambo mazuri ambayo yanatutarajia hapo mbele. Na naachia hili neno ndani ya nguvu ya uwepo, nikijua limeshatendeka na kila kitu ni sawa. Na pamoja tuseme hivi ndivyo ilivyo. And together we say, so it is.
So it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Patrick.
So
Thank
it
you.
is.
Welcome to
Oh,
everyone.
When you do a treatment in another language, it always just hits me right in here in the heart. Like, thank you. It's beautiful. Love the energy behind it.
We have a beautiful morning / evening / day for everyone. Reverend Gwen Smith is in the house, y'all. Come on, show some spirit fingers. We're also celebrating some students today. And as we have had, thank you, Patrick, for laying that spiritual foundation, that beautiful treatment that sets us apart from everything and combines us and brings us together as one. So as we continue on this morning, let's just settle in and ask Karen if she's willing to lead us into a meditation to continue to set that feeling tonality for this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Karen Lee in the house.
And we breathe right here and right now, knowing that as God is timeless, morning, evening, the full day, we allow that fullness to open our hearts. God, everything, perfection, present, power. We are so filled in this moment right here and right now that we feel that overflow connecting around this globe, knowing for everyone everywhere that as we rest in this presence, We recognize the power and the presence of God everywhere, available, always present. And we settle in right here and right now, feeling that presence. Allowing it to nurture every cell in our body. To quiet every thought. To dissolve any sense of separation. Right here and right now, God is all there is. And we rest and breathe. And we breathe again. And having rested and acknowledged and embodied the very presence of God, we turn our attention to this morning, knowing that we celebrate as each one of us is the individualization of this presence. We come together filled with joy and love and that very sense of celebration that acknowledges every face we see is the face of God. And we breathe gently into that new awareness, opening our eyes, looking at those faces. How many different ways that God shows up right here in front of us. We are so blessed. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you for centering and grounding us, Karen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome. I love it when we are coming together and we are one people. Barb, take it away.
Ooh, come on, you know it's my favorite. We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are part of one another. We're born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one. Reverend Gwen.
We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are part of one another. We're born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one.
Take it up. We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within us all. We are part of one another. We're born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one. When it's all said Let me see those spirit fingers.
We are
are
one.
Yeah.
Got two Dukes on here, and I'm looking at this one
Barbara,
Duke face, and I'm going, Duke,
Barbara, you
my
remind me of
younger.
the Muppets. You remind me of the Muppets show.
I'm like the
It
Muppets. I have been called a lot of things, but never one like the Muppets. But I'm getting a lot of good things I'm being called today, right, Michelle? I'm taking it all with a grain of
Oh, that's
salt.
it. There's not-
That means we
Listen,
got to figure out
Oh,
who's
that's-
Grover,
okay.
who's the Cookie Monster, who's.
I love it. I love it.
Well, that's
Listen,
Sesame Street. That's not the Muppets. What's, yeah, I think I'm
yeah,
mixing.
no,
my-
it is. It's Sesame Street. Sesame
Yeah.
Street.
Oh, that's
We
good.
have Reverend Gwen going to share her beautiful message today as we settle in. We're just having a good time this evening, this day, this morning. And she's going to open up a beautiful, beautiful message of love. And we are ready to receive. Yes, we are ready to receive her. Let me see it. Mhm.
Okay, I need the
Ladies
love
and gentlemen, this is Reverend Gwen Smith, my favorite LMNOP.
We're not BFS, we're elemental P. And when we hit the letter Z, you know that we are on a whole nother plane. We're gonna have matching t-shirts one day. Thanks for being here. This is really wonderful to see all these faces. I love looking around the little squares. And, you know, just like the Brady Bunch was a family in their little squares. I don't know if you all remember that, gosh, was that in the 70s, maybe 80s show? We are family. We are family. We are connected by the heartstrings that pulls us across and has no interference of miles and distance. That just shrinks to our heartstrings. So thank you for showing up on this beautiful day. You know, I've been thinking a lot about weeds lately because they've come into my life. We've had lots of rain, and our, you know, our growth in our country in Canada is very lush right now. But you know, along comes the flowers and the beautiful plants and the vegetables comes weeds. And I was thinking about the weeds because, you know, even in class, we talk about cleaning up our thoughts. And we talk about, you know, being conscious of our thoughts. Is it a thought that brings you down? Is it a thought that lifts you up? Is it a creative thought? Is it an expansive thought? Or is it a diminishing, constricted thought? So we want to pluck out those constricting thoughts, right? And so, you know, it's weeding our garden of our mind. So weeding, but then what is a weed? You know, a weed can be a plant that strangulates and takes over our vegetable garden. Well, then it's a true weed. It's a menace, and it you know, strangulates our vegetation or our vegetables, and then we need our vegetables or our pretty flowers for the bees. And so that would be something you'd want to pluck out. It doesn't serve us on the whole, the well. But then maybe there's a weed that's growing and it's actually ended up blossoming into this beautiful flower. I don't know if in Kenya you have a weed called, we call this a weed here quite generally, but it is a dandelion. And, you know, we never want this dandelion in our yards, in our gardens, etc. But the dandelion actually is quite a medicinal plant. And it is something that when you look at it from a different perspective, from that medicinal point of view, and highly function for the ecosystem, then it's not a weed anymore, really. You can't label it a weed. Hi, baby Dawn. So you can, it's one of the first flowering plants that we have around. So our bees love it and gets to grow and nourish. And we need our bees for our ecosystem. So that is a great thing. The plant leaves can be eaten in a salad, highly nutritious. The root itself can be dried and ground into a tea, which is very medicinal for, I think it's your liver. It helps with your liver. The thing I recently found is if it's in your lawn, those leaves, I don't know if you've ever, do you have dandelions in Kenya, first of all? Yes, no, yes, yes, okay, good. So you kind of
Yes.
have an idea how, okay, thanks, Nancy. I mean, those roots are long, and when you pull them out, you never get the whole thing. Rarely do you get the whole thing. But what I found out was those leaves, those roots go so long, it actually aerates the soil as well, which is what's needed. So when you get that different perspective of a weed, then it's like, oh, maybe I'm not going to be in such a hurry to pluck it. I've stopped pulling them out when they're flowering because I want our bees to survive. So you get a different perspective. And it's just the same with us. There's parts of us that we sometimes feel isn't so nice, isn't so kind, is maybe crabby, is maybe bitchy, is maybe a liar, maybe a little of a cheat. But it's a part of our one side. Like we're a coin, just like God is love and law. We're also got light and dark side of us, but it makes up the whole of us. And we often do our self-examination. Now, today we have practitioner 1 students that are graduating, and we've got a few 2 students here, and they know the deep work that they've gone through. And that a part of that is looking at those both sides of that individual self. And because we need to unearth and reveal and then heal those parts. And so when we start looking at it and weeding those parts out of our life, looking at the dark side can be kind of uncomfortable and make you squirm, right? Make you squirm. But when something makes you squirm, you better stick with it and keep on having a look at it. A lot of the dark side is a part of that ego that we like to say and squelch down because it's not that comfortable side. It's not that pretty side of us. But the ego is also a friend. It can be our friend. It's trying to keep us safe. It's trying to keep us comfortable. It's trying to keep us in this rut. So these parts of us work together as much as we might not think that. These darker sides, we don't want to show. We don't want to let people know that we have them. Well, here's the news, people. We all have them. And it's okay to have a look at them. And sometimes they serve us in a greater way. I'm recently reading a book, and it's called No Bad Parts, because these parts serve us in a way. And if we have them within us and create that family tree of me and include these parts of us, then it becomes a part of you in that family way, in that more loving, inviting way. And I bring this into the talk because it's a tough thing to work through as an individual. And I know the work you've done in practice 1. That that's really rolling your sleeves up and getting into it. And so I just want to celebrate you at the end of the 30 weeks, coming to that point of revealing and earthing and healing all those things that maybe weren't comfortable. And there is no bad parts. Recently, and love, what's love got to do with it? That was my title, because every time I want to talk about something else, but every time I went to be inspired for the talk today, Tina Turner was singing in my head. What's love got to do with it? Well, to tell you the truth, everything. What's love got to do with it? It's everything. Because love is synonymous with God, with spirit, with life itself. And so love is everything. If God is absolute, love is absolute. And this is that higher universal agape love, unconditional. But it is the love that can hold us and cushion us and make that soft landing when we're doing our hard work. Recently, my neighbor, I had to talk to my neighbor because I was going to be looking after her place because she was going away. And so I called her to get the instructions to water her plants, etc. And I was talking to her and she said, I can't talk right now. I'm on hold with the airline. So we just hung up. So once she got finished with the airline, she phoned and I could tell in her voice, she was really disturbed and really emotional. And so she told me her story. They changed her flights. She was going up north in British Columbia, and it's quite a journey to get there because you got to make some connections, even though we're in the same province, etc. But she was going to go attend her grandson's graduation. Really important time. They had plans for that day that she arrived for the evening. There was going to be a celebration. And then, of course, on the weekend, they're going to attend the graduation itself. But they changed her flights. And now she was going to get there 12 hours later, which would mean she would miss the total event of that evening. So she's on hold for probably close to an hour to get this reorganized and find out what's going on. And when she hung up from me, the first call, I said to her, I know everything is going to work out perfectly for you. She was in this tizzy because she was caught up in the emotions. And my words went straight through to her, through those emotions, hit her right in the heart. And she thought to herself, she told me this later, why can't I be more positive like Gwen? And I said, so after when we were talking and discussing it, I said, look, that's my job. I'm holding the light. I'm holding the love. I am holding the truth for you when you can't do it. And I am holding the love, the ultimate love for you. And when I told her that, it was like I had thrown ice water on her. It brought her right out of her funk, her desperation, even though it had worked out better. It was like, oh, she said, thank you. Thank you for being my guardian angel. Thank you for being my angel that just is so kind and so generous. And that's what we need to do, people. That's our jobs, is to love everyone, to hold them in that highlight, that highness and that light. But it made her speechless. It made her speechless, and it sat her back on her heels, and she was able to come out of that because it had moved on. She actually, the person on the other end of the line, after I said that to her, came on and he helped her with the most incredible sincerity. He held her with, like, just worked for her so diligently, and he got her to the destination 12 hours earlier than she would have with her original thing. It's this or something better, folks, right? Right. So it was a beautiful thing about just being present for her and knowing the truth. And when I hung up for her that first time, I knew it was going to work. I knew with my deep heart that it was going to work out for her. And it did. And it was this or something better. So love is that synonymous with God. It is that life force of all creation. And Ernest Holmes says it this way: love is the grandest healing and drawing power on earth. Love is the soul impulse. Don't you love that word? The soul impulse of creation. And the man who does not have love as the greatest incentive in his life has never developed a real creative instinct. Let's just think about that. Let's nurture that, right? There is but one ultimate impulse in this earth, and that impulsion is love. Dr. Ernest Holmes. You know, when I was thinking about this, she went right into fear. And then that made me think of Reverend Verona's acronym, face everything and rise. Well, she was facing it by making that call, but I was helping her make that elevation out of it, the rising part. So it's a collaborative thing, folks. We are here to work with each other. And when we are doing our inner work, we can be clear and we can just hone in on what is necessary to do. And sometimes if we don't know what to do, if we don't know what to say, we stay in that space of love. How does love show up? So I looked up different definitions of love. And when I looked this up, I found the Greek, different words in Greek, because there is different ways of love. I'm talking about the agape love and my true heartfelt love coming from that individualization of spirit. And when I looked this up, I thought, have I talked about love before? So maybe I needed to hear about it because Tina Turner was telling me I needed to talk about it. So eros, love in Greek, is romantic and the passionate love. We can all get that. Philia is affectionate, friendly love. Philatia is self-love. Now that's a tough one. That's a tough one for me. I know it's a tough one for other people, that self-care, that self-love. I'm growing into it. I'm working it, but sometimes I fall back on it. And you can hold me to my feet to the fire about it if I ever fall down on it. When Reverend Barb says gentle, gentle, I know that I've been a little too critical for myself. And then that reminds me when she goes gentle, gentle, it helps to bring me back to loving myself. There's also this wonderful one that is ludious, and it is playful, flirtatious love. That's always fun. And then, of course, the one that I'm truly speaking and who I would know that is the God love, the synonymous one is the agape. It's selfless, it's universal, it's unconditional, it's infinite. Love is a grand thing. And I did not find one, and this is my heart too. I know it's many of you's hearts when we have that grandmother love. I cannot believe the most expansive love in my being is grandmother love. Being for the children, the connection with children. It doesn't have to just be my own. I feel grandmotherly to all children. And Reverend Barb and I were just at a fundraiser for the Britain School children. And you could just see people connect with the pictures that we shared with them. And they were so generous and so gracious for the Britain Project. So know that there was such love in that room. It was selfless love. And you know what? Like I said, if you're never not sure, if you're uncertain as to what to do, just take a deep breath and go to that place of love, because there is only love. There is only love. There is only love. It's a love that freely heals, love that sets you free. There is only love. Reverend Barb.
There is only love. There is only love. It's a love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Yes, love sets us free. Namaste. Yay. So
Thank you, Reverend Gwen.
we have lots to do today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for
moving us into that sacred space and reminding us and keeping us present in the heart. And I love Reverend Verona's acronym for fear, because I had to sign off early last week. So thank you for prompting me with that. Yes, that's fantastic. Thank you. So much to share today. So much to share. We'll have some Q&A, but do you want to move through our
we are going to invite Michelle
Okay.
We'll invite Michelle in because she will speak to this as well, right, Michelle?
Okay.
And we'll go right into the, after you say something, then we'll go right into the certificates.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
you're up.
Ladies and
Welcome,
gentlemen,
Michelle Taylor. Woohoo!
she is
So-
a teacher. She is a life changer. She sits on our board. She is our friend. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Michelle Taylor.
The retired Michelle Taylor.
There we go.
So, Reverend Gwen asked me to do the 10-minute power talk today, and I'm like, I'm still in recovery. So, last month, I actually retired from 45 years of teaching special needs children in public school. So, I was my power talk is from birth to Kenya. I was born on this planet as a teacher. I will leave this planet, just like Reverend Connie, teaching. I have a saying, good teachers are born, they're not made. You can learn the skills of teaching, but to truly understand teaching, it actually is a call from God. So if I reflect, my current life has been my life path from earliest memory. I grew up Catholic. At age 5, I was setting up my first classroom using my brother's algebra textbooks as lessons, and my friend was my student, my first student. At 6, I was making an altar out of my music box and my dad's cufflinks and telling my mom I was going to be a nun. A nun that takes a vow of silence. She laughed hysterically at the thought that I could ever be silent. When I was 9, we moved to Vietnam, and we were there at the height of the war. My dad put me in a French school. It lasted 3 days. The only class I understood was the English class, but it taught me all about English as a second language. I went to oil company schools after that, and I was the teacher helper. When I was 12, we moved to Singapore. I really liked it. I didn't like it there. I had a friend, though, who was a Church of Christ, and they speak in tongues, and I so wanted to hear them speak in tongues. But Catholic Church said you have to go to Mass first, and that I wasn't going to do. So I never went, and it actually is still on my bucket list. When I was 14, we moved to Australia, and I went away to a Catholic girls' boarding school. That ended all thoughts of becoming a nun. At 16, we moved to Papua New Guinea, and I learned about equality. The very white camp families had very skewed views of the natives. So in New Guinea, I broke a lot of rules. At 17, we moved back to the States, and I never fit in. I didn't understand the culture. I didn't understand the people. Apparently, I had a thick Australian accent. But it's when I understood I was really not an American patriot. I believe strongly in a global community. However, this was where I first worked with, back in those days, trainable, mentally challenged children. And I made the decision that I would not have children of my own, but adopt a special needs child. His name is Charlie. He's 44. I got him when he was 4, and he's kind of cute. At 18, we moved to Algeria, and I went to the American College of Barcelona. I lived on my own for the first time, and there I created quite a few stories. At 19, I returned to the States because my grandmother had a stroke and my parents needed me to look after the family home. At 20, I graduated with a degree in teaching children with special needs and started teaching severely mentally challenged children. These are children that have an IQ below 30. I went on to teach moderately mentally challenged children, children who are blind or visually impaired, and on May 27th, I retired after 45 years from teaching 3 and 4-year-olds with autism. So people ask me, what are you going to do now that you're not teaching? And I said, I'm going to teach in Kenya. I have every day now to serve my community. In 2002, I became a licensed practitioner 20 years ago. And in Science of Mind years, I'm actually old. So in reflection, I realized that I came on the planet as a teacher and on a deeply spiritual path. I remember one time sitting with Connie, and I was crying, and I said to her, I'm not growing. I need to grow, Connie. I have to grow. Well, CSL Kenya is where I grow. Being with you in class is where I grow. Serving you, my spiritual community, is where I learn and deepen and feel such joy. So I retired to be with you, my family. And just this week, I became a grandma. Alfred has agreed to let his children, Alvin and baby Connie, be my adopted grandchildren. So they're going to show you a picture of Nancy delivering Alvin's toys from Grandma. So that is my story of how I was born to be in Kenya.
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at Alfred.
No,
Alvin.
Oh, how special. See, that grandma love is a whole nother dynamic of love.
Alfred said he took his toys to bed with him last night and he kept touching them in the middle of the night. I know.
You know, that heart opening, transparent, revealing part of your life for us, Michelle, brings us closer to you, more connected to you. I'm moved by your service, by your wisdom, your consciousness that brought you here through all these years to land up with us as you are our gift right here. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Despite the names you called me earlier, it's okay.
Oh no, it was a witch.
Hey, let's do spirit fingers for Michelle. And know that each and every one of you has been, I know you've all been blessed with her.
Yes,
her
yes, we
wisdom,
have.
her skills as a teacher, and the best is yet to come with us.
And we love Charlie. Oh my goodness. We've had the great pleasure of meeting Charlie on Zoom. We love him. And what a gift you are to him as well. Thank you, Michelle.
He has served for many a class.
Well, he's a part of our Kenyan community. Welcome, Charlie.
It's a true story. Oh my gosh. Now we have another opportunity to share.
Now, Nancy, we'll get you to unmute. There's only 3 certificates for this thing called You. But if you can name or call out the names, Barb, can you show those?
You bet. You bet I can.
Oh, right. And then I'm going to have, after that, I'm going to have Michelle and Karen present top 1.
Okay, we have David Mjuni.
Yay!
Yay, from Arusha, Tanzania. Then, yes, then we have Florence Kamau.
Yay! So flow.
And we have Terry Gishuki.
Woo! Put your love together for this class. Change your thinking, change your life.
Yes. In the beginning, there was change your thinking, change your life. Okay, Michelle and Karen, if you can take on the Prac 1 students. We've got a couple here, but I don't think we have all 6. I know Dan's not here and Christopher.
That's okay. We'll still go through it because Karen and I have been, well, Karen mostly has been working with power words, and it's sort of flowed over, and it's a thing for us right now. We seem to be tying it into like almost all areas. So let me just verify. Yes. So Rahema, our power word for Rahema is clarity. Seeking clarity is seeking connection with the universe. To connect is to understand. To be clear is to be enlightened. Rahema is very clear, and she brings great joy to the class. She doesn't share often, but when she does, it's marvelous.
Rahema, can you put your camera on just so we can honor you? If you can't, we'll still honor you, of course. Where are you, girl? There you are.
So Rahema Mutunga. I'm practicing my Swahili.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And so the next certificate goes to Patrick. And Patrick, of the wisdom of the gray beard, is our leader. He's our collaborator. And in that collaboration, he knows that coming together is the beginning. And it's his team that was doing the translating. So we've started the beginning. Keeping together is progress. So they're getting ready to start their next book. And working together is success. No one can whistle a symphony by themselves. It takes an orchestra to play. And so this team of translators is our orchestra. Thank you, Patrick.
Beautifully said.
Yay. So beautiful.
Christopher. So Christopher's power word is concentration. To focus like a laser. The key to success is to focus our conscious mind on things we desire, not things we fear. The best way to predict the future is to invent it. Christopher takes what he learns, applies it, and it's showing up in amazing ways in his life. He is a powerful manifester. And that's Christopher Okello.
Sorry, what was his power word?
Concentration.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
And this is for Dan. And Dan's word, and as soon as we thought of Dan, this word popped into our minds. Dan's word coming from us is determination. For Dan, we know that we all have dreams. But in order to make dreams become reality, it takes an awful lot of determination, dedication, self-discipline, and effort. This has been a challenging year for Dan, as well as some of the other students. But he has persisted and deepened and changed his consciousness, where he is calling upon his internal resources to maintain that dream. And we honor him. Thank you, Dan.
So Philip, his power word is creativity. Creativity doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It fashions its own perfect moment out of ordinary ones. Philip is our creator. Every moment for him is a moment of inspiration, and what is created is awe-inspiring. Philip sees connections where others cannot. So we honor Philip.
And our next certificate is for James. And when we first met James, there was some discussion about where everybody lived and who they were. And he introduced himself as from the warrior tribe. And I believed it. He sits there like this. But his word was very easily identified for us as courage. He's our spiritual warrior. Courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. James's challenges this year have required a great deal of courage. It takes courage in the face of adversity to continue to follow the spiritual path. He has never wavered.
Oh, big hands.
Congratulations, everybody.
They have
So
done a
proud of you.
lot of work this year. Beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
So
you know,
much commitment.
I'm going to say something more about this process of power words, because it started with the children that I teach in Phoenix, because they're learning English. And we started off with the process of what word will give you the strength to keep on going. You know, sort of like, I can't talk too much about affirmations in a public school setting, but I can say power words, and they chose their own power words and we made certificates. But then I took it to the kids in Kenya, and Rahema's daughter and Nancy's daughter worked together and they chose power words. And then I took the power word process to my grandchildren in Norway, because they're learning Norwegian in school. And the whole process of growing power words is now going around the world. And my son listened to the power words and he says, wait a minute, Mom, there's a difference in the power words. Because one of the power words, I was talking to the kids about learning for, you know, a new language is creativity, because every sentence you say is creative. Because you never hear, like I did when I was in school, I see the red ball behind the green chair. I mean, you've heard that once and you never say it again. But my son said to me, wait a minute. The most important power word is imagination, because you can't do until you can imagine what you're doing. And I said, what? He's an engineer. I didn't expect him to be creative. He said, when you go to the moon, you have to imagine it first, and then you create the process. And you have to be determined in the process. So his word was imagination. All of these words go around the world, and they mean something to all of us. And
Thank you, Karen.
And our process, when Michelle and I were saying, well, what are their power words for our students? Many of those words were so instant and had for us an instant connection with those students. I almost need to make them a separate certificate. Prac 1 is important, but power words can be important certificates too.
I love this idea, and that we get to share it. Thank you so much. And the way you've both delivered it, just brilliant teachers. We've talked about Michelle teaching and retiring, but continuing her life calling, and your calling, I see and I hear, Karen. And each one of these students, as they are stepping in and leaning into more than who they ever thought perhaps they could be, but never less than who they are called to be. I am moved in this moment, and I love us. I love us. This is fantastic. We should move to our affirmations.
Let's do our affirmations. And while we're doing our affirmations, we have practitioners here. We can do breakout rooms right following the affirmations. So if you are in need of treatment, put your hand up in your little square. We can go back to the slide, Barb.
Yes, and we have practitioners that are here to serve everybody. I also want to give a plug. If you feel called to contribute knowing that we are an organization that runs entirely off of love offerings and donations. We are so open and willing to receive. You can send that via PayPal. You can check it out on our website, cslkenya.org. We are ready to receive and put your love offerings and funding to good work. We see the good work that's happening here. So we thank you for joining us on this incredible moment and this morning, this evening, this day. I thank you, Reverend Gwen, for always sharing your life with us. Michelle, you have moved me. Karen, each and every one of you who sign on, thank you. Thank you for saying yes to your calling of ministry, of higher learning, of being more of who you are. So we all unplug. Reverend Gwen will say this affirmation and we will repeat it after her, and we will break out into rooms. Go ahead, Gwen.
Love is the healing power in my life.
Love
is the healing
the
power
healing
in
power
my life.
In my life.
I am love and I radiate love in everything I do, I say, and what I think.
I am love and I
I
radiate love everything I do, I say, and what I think.
and what I think.
I am an open channel of love.
I am an open channel of love.
I have one more. I love all my bits and pieces.
I love all my bits.
Bits and pieces.
Oh my goodness. We
This came to mind
also, we also want to remind everyone that next
Yes.
Froggy Friday, go ahead, Gwen.
Yes, the 24th is our next Froggy Friday, and I am excited to say that the practitioner class is taking it over. They're doing the whole thing. So please come, please receive their love and their message and their wisdom and their treatments and their meditations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be a high power energized Froggy Friday. So just
And here's
come and support them. Come and show up for
Yes.
them.
Here's my goal. 25 people fills one Zoom room. I would like 2 or 3 pages. I would like to have to go to page 1, 2, 3. So let's get over 25 people in here as we often have, but let's commit to that next week. Now, who would like treatment or support, or who would want more goodness in their life? Who would like to have more clarity in their life? And who would like to break off into a room? And if not, then the answer is not, but we are here in this moment. Have you been uplifted this morning? Have you been inspired this morning, this evening, this day? Then our job is done, but we are always connected. We are never apart. We are always together as one. Julia, thank you for joining us for the first time today. Patrick, thank you for stepping in and giving the treatment. I will leave it to you to handle Paul and have that discussion. I
can't
thank you
help the power.
all. We have a good life and we share it together. So go and shine the love and light that you are. I'm going to stop recording.
Well,
Peace and
We're trying to make room for the rooms. Agnes, take it away.
thank you, my
Thank you,
friend.
Gwen. Join me as we get to know the truth. As we get to the end of this service, I'm grateful for the revealing of love in our lives. As we depart with this presence of love that is always within us as us, till we meet again, and so it is.
Thank you.
And so it is.
So it is.
Peace and blessings, everyone.